Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Web UI API endpoints so that we can access Deepseek R1 distill models programmatically on our local computer. Previously, I've shared tutorials on how to set up the Deepseek R1 locally on different operating systems. And a lot of reviewers are asking, can we access the Deepseek R1 model using API? So that you can build web apps or other applications on top of that without having to use the web interface. And the answer is yes. So I'm going to show you step by step how to do that. First, go to the openwebui.com website, and then upper right here, go to the docs documentation, and then on the left side, click Getting Started. Find the API endpoints section. So this one shows you detailed information on how to set it up, and you can do that using terminal command line, or you can also utilize that in Python. So I'm going to show you both ways how to do that. And first, open the start the open web UI on your local computer. If you haven't set it up, you can check out my tutorials here how to set up on Windows and also Linux. So after you set up, it should be running on your local computer on the 8080 API, the port number. So the first we need to do is to get the API key. If you look at this here, this would be the command line used to access the our Deepseek R1 model, and you do need the API key. So to get the API key, log into your account, and then upper right corner, click Settings. Scroll down, find the Account section. On the right here, you should be able to see API keys, and then click the Show button. This is going to show you two sections. It's actually not the API key, it's this one, JWT token. You can click this one to show it if you want to. So this will be the API key or the token to access your web UI programmatically. And right now I'm just running locally, so it's okay to show you. But if you're exposing your open web UI to the internet, then you need to be very careful about this one, because other people can access your web UI instance programmatically. So what we can do here is to just copy this API key and then go to your settings. So I'm on Linux, I'm in Java KDE, so I'm actually using my terminal is GSHRC. If you're using other Linux distro, it might be base RC. And so I'm going to open this one. If I'm on Windows, you need to just set up the environment variable using the Windows web GUI, the dialog. Anyway, so once you open this one, as you can see here, I already set it up. So it'll be export, and then the name you want to use for the API key. So this is the one that we're going to use access programmatically. Then just paste this API key. So Control V, set this one up, and then close it. Discard, because I already set it up. Once you have this, then we can try to access the web UI programmatically. So here, look at this one, curl -h authorization. And so all we need is just replace this one, and then just you can copy the entire URL command line. So just open this one, open a new one, right? So here, make sure that you change this one to 8080, because our web instance is running on 8080, the port number. Also, this one you're going to replace with $ web UI API key, right? Because we're using the environment variable, so you need to use the $. Then we can copy this one, open a new terminal, paste it, hit enter, take a look. So now we can actually get the information out, and it's going to return as a JSON string. So this, you can see here, we have Deepseek R1 7B model. I also have the 1.5B models. If you go to the web UI interface, you will see I do have these two models, and that's why it gave you the result like this. So it's the correct result, and also the last one here, Arena. Similarly, if you don't want to set it in as environment variable, or you don't know how to do it, you can also utilize it. So let me show you one more time here. Settings, use account, and then API keys token. I can actually copy this one, and replace this in Taiwan if you don't want to set up the environment variable. But it's going to be a very long string like this, but it certainly should work. So I'm going to open this one again and then just paste it, hit enter. Take a look, it works just fine. So next, let me show you how you can actually ask the questions and then you can return the result. Very much similar. This is what it looks like. So you can also copy this one, open a notepad, and then just replace this. So you'll be 8080, and then again, this one will be your API key, the name. So mine is web UI API key, and then Control C, open the terminal, and run this one. Model not found. Okay, because we're using the Deepseek R1, so you also need to replace this one with Deepseek R1 1.5b. So you will be replacing this Deepseek. Let me forget the name. I forgot the name. Deepseek dash R1 and then colon 1.5b. Deepseek dash R1 and then colon 1.5b. Okay, Control C, come here, copy, hit enter. Oh, there's another one here, sorry, typo. It's work now, so wait for a couple seconds. You should be to see the output, and this will be here, the syncing, the color, blah blah. At the end, the complete check completion. So that means we can access this programmatically using the terminal. The next one I'm showing you using Python. So in order to save some time, I have created a notebook. The link is also in the video description below. So you can access this one using notebook, and then you can retrieve the information just like what you traditionally do using Python. So I'm going to open my VS Code, and then I can open the notebook. So it's under my downloads directory. If I double click it, open it. So now you should be able to see I have this notebook loaded. So the package that you need is this request. So you can just use pip install request. You should be able to get it. And I have set it up on my computer here. Let me restart my funnel here. Wait. This might not be the latest one. Let me remove it. You can download this one from my GitHub. So you can just copy, download it, download zip file, and then download to your computer. So from here, then just unzip the file. So I'm going to remove the existing one and just unzip it, extract here. So now I should have this one, and let me copy outside so it's easier, and then remove all of this. So let's get back to VS Code here, double click. Now you should be see the same thing that you see online. And oh, by the way, you need to start the VS Code from the terminal. If you open that, you will say not authenticated. The reason for that is the environment variable is available through the terminal. So you need to open your terminal and then just type code period. So in this way, the environment variable can be accessed. So now let's run this one again. You see? So we should be able to get the result. And right now we just use this environment variable. So the output is the JSON string, similar to what we did earlier using the command line. So instead of putting the exclamation, so that means it's one line command line, but if you have multiple lines, you cannot put an exclamation. You need to put this two percentage sign and then the base. In that way, Jupyter Notebook is going to treat this one just like a terminal. So if we run this one, you will see here we have the result and the output and blah blah. Lastly, the model choices index. So if you scroll to the right, you should be able to see the answer. So basically under the message content, and then this will be the result. This will be basically the response from the Deepseek R1 models 1.5b. You can also change this one to a large one, to for example 7b or whatever models that you are utilizing. You can also do the streaming, because sometimes if the answer takes a while to get, there are some additional settings. So if you set this one to stream equal to true, that means it's going to show you just like the check interface, you will get the result when it's thinking about that. So for example here, let me go to the interface and for example, tell me a fun fact, you will be syncing and then you will show you the results step by step. So if you want, you can do the streaming. So in that way, you don't need to wait until the result is fully done. So let's run this one and you'll be able to see it's running and give you all the result. Although this is a very short question, so it's still pretty quick. But if you really want, you can, for example, get this kind of a streaming and the choices. So you see on the right here, the content basically one by one, like syncing the color of the blah blah, just like you are typing. So if this is what you want, you can do it this way. Okay, so this is how we can access this one using the command line, basically the base command. But if you want to build on top of this one, it's better to use Python. So I have set up two functions here that allows you to easily copy and paste. Pretty simple. So first one is get available models. That means we can get all the models installed on your local computer programmatically. And so there are two things you can customize. The first one is the API key, and the second one is the URL. So depending on the port number they're utilizing, you can customize this one. And so inside is pretty simple. It's going to check your API key, see if it is available. If it's yes, you're just going to utilize the request Python library, and then the header will be similar to what we utilize using the terminal, and just get the response. Going to read the response, the JSON, and then to get the data, because it's in the data key. Once you have that, it's going to basically read the list, get all the models, and then you can print out the models. After that, you can test it. So if you run this one, see, so now we have these three available models through the web interface. So it should be the same, just like what you are seeing from here. So this is the way to get the available models using Python. I think the most important will be this one, is that you're going to ask a question and then you're going to return the result. So in that way, you can build web applications on top of this. Basically, behind the scene, you use the Deepseek R1 models to return the query. You can ask any questions, and you get the result, and then you can pass the result. Or you can follow processed result, and then you can integrate into your applications. So I have this function here, get check completion, and the parameters include the content. So what kind of question you want to ask, you can specify the API key. If you don't specify, it's going to use these environment variables. Also, you can specify which models you want to utilize. Also the URL. The URL is different from the previous one. This one is using the API models. This one is using the chat completion. So, but everything is automatically set up, except the only thing you might need to change is this port number if you're using a different port number. And it's going to basically check the API key, passing the token, and then specify, for example, the message. So it'll be the role, the user going to ask something, and this is the question you want to ask. Then you will get the result, the response, and the response is going to be in a JSON format. And inside there, you're going to basically loop through the nested structure, and then finally get the content, and then it's going to return the content again. So we're just going to test this function, and then provide the question you want to ask, then return the output. So run this one again. It's going to take a couple seconds, depends on your GPU, but it does work. So the response is going to give you the syncing process, and after that, it's going to give you the result. So this is basically the long result, why the sky is blue. You can ask like more questions. Right now, this one is not really kind of the syncing the reasoning process. If you ask more like the reasoning questions, you might have something syncing in here. So previously in another video, I tested Deepseek R1 model, the 6 distill models using different questions, and some of those are kind of reasoning questions, so it takes longer to get the result. So I'm going to maybe copy this one, the same thing here. I would say maybe question equal to double quote. Okay, so if I have 2 apples, I buy 2 more. I bake a pie with 2 of the apples. After eating half, how many apples do I left? And so all we need to just replace this one with the question and run again. Oops, sorry, it should be here. So this one is going through the reasoning process. It's going to take a few more seconds. Okay, 4 seconds. Now we have the answer. It's going to sync. Okay, so this one shows you the basically the reasoning process. Although it's pretty brief, but you can check the results. So 2 apples, bake 2, eat half. You still have 2 apples. Looks like it was able to get the answer correctly. I think sometimes it doesn't. So also you can actually customize some of the parameters. I will create another tutorial showing you how to customize the web UI to get the best result out of these local AI models. Sometimes the default settings won't give you the good results. And this is pretty brief, but at least it works. You give you the result. Okay, so this is how you can access the Deepseek R1 models, or it can be any Ollama models, anything you can access through the web UI user interface. So you can install any kind of models directly from here, and then you enable the API key, get the token, and set it the token as an environment variable. And after that, you should be able to do that. If you want to try out more models, Ollama.com, and then the models here. These are all the models you can actually access programmatically. Some of those are pretty good for coding, and some might be for very general purpose. But if you have a larger GPU, you can look at the different type of models in here, ranging from 1 gigabyte to 43. These are all the distilled models. The R1, the original one, is 671. This one needs a lot of GPU. Most people won't be able to run this one on their local computer. Okay, and check the link in the video description below to get the sample code using the base command or using Python. So that's all for this video. I hope you find it useful. I will see you in the next one.